Hi, Neal Brennan here. You know me. I'm one of the champs. Hey, Phoenix, you fucking assholes. I'm coming to see you July 12th, Phoenix. Come fuck with me, 8 o'clock, stand up live. Let's go. And then I'm in Montreal for the week of the festival. Come fuck with me there, too.
Yeah, so you all know when the Just for Laughs festival is in Montreal, right? It's July 20.
If they live in Montreal, they do.
All right, well, I'll be there, too. This is Moshe Kasher. I'm going to be at the Just for Laughs festival. I'll also be at the La Jolla Comedy Store July 6 and 7. So come fuck with me there. And listen, all of your T-shirt designs have been really nice, and we haven't quite hit our mark yet. So keep submitting designs. Don't put our faces in it because we ugly. We want some logo shit. So, come with it. Fuck with me.
Hey, this is Douggpound. Come fudge with me.
Fudge him.
July 27th in Chicago, July 28th in Madison, Wisconsin, July 29th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Neil Hamburger and Tim Heidecker. Come fudge with it.
And fudge with our guest today, Parks and Rec is the show she's on, and it'll be coming back on NBC sometime in September. So fudge with that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's fuck with the champs.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Fuck with a pen.
That's E40.
Yep.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's E40, man.
That guy has been on. Somebody begged him on Twitter the other day to come on.
Yeah, I called him. I have E40's phone number. Did I ever tell you this?
Yeah. Is it active, though?
Yeah, for sure. It was like, hey, you reach E40? And I was like, okay, I got the right dude. And I left him a message, but he never called me back because he gave me his phone number on a Southwest flight. And I was like, why would I told him I was a comedian. He's like, oh, you should take my number. I was like, okay. To what end? And then I thought, the champs.
So you can get up.
And I called him. Never called me back.
Did you tell him?
Did you page him?
If it was not major, so I did not hit him on his pager.
Did you
hit him on the pager?
Did you tell him you wanted to chop it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to chop up this gang
you want
player.
to chop it up?
So E40, I'm calling you out, man, in a very gentle way. Please come on my podcast.
And Amir wants us to get what's his name? The pimp.
The pimp?
Too Short.
Oh, what's his name? The pimp. Yeah, Too Short.
But he won't come on. I mean, wasn't he supposed to, and then he didn't? Or
Listen,
something?
I don't know if you guys know, but I'm actually from Oakland.
From the Bay
I'm actually
Area.
from Oakland, and so Too Short is a personal friend of mine who I've never met, and Too Short, we're calling you out too. This is real beef.
He's not gonna. He doesn't even.
That's some
he'd
Bay
be
Area
here,
shit,
but
Northern California.
Okay.
Yeah, but speaking of other controversies here on the Champs, last episode we talked a lot about our the perception of the Champs being a boys club. Mm-hmm. We've changed that shit.
We've righted the ship.
We have corrected our course.
You wanted women.
And you got one.
You got a woman.
We are so excited.
Go to the counter. Tell a nigga I want a chicken sandwich. That's
Ladies and gentlemen, you know her from she's a stand-up comedian. She's a famous actor on the television program Parks and Recreation. It's Retta, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, Retta. Yeah.
Soulja Boy, tell him.
Yeah.
The champ is here.
Yeah, you're our champ.
How's it feel? You're the first non-porn star we've had.
Is that right?
As far as we know.
I was gonna say, y'all know what to do on my off time.
Right?
Yeah, I might be here first. I don't know.
Where do we even begin with you?
I don't know.
Here I have a couple things I want to ask.
Retta, go ahead.
I want to
No.
Don't even bother. Let me cut you off before I even get a chance to cut you off.
Before you start, let me cut you off.
I want to talk about what your life, but also you've listened to the podcast and you know what our problem is. If you were a woman, why? Because women find
if you were a woman, Retta,
some women find it troubling the way we talk about sex and women on here. And do you find it especially troubling?
Not particularly, because I know how, or at least I know how some guys are in one setting and how they are in another. So I know how guys are around guys,
right?
And whether you believe it to be truthful, whatever the fuck y'all are saying,
I feel gospel?
Like whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like when you're with a woman, it is a little bit different. That's just me, my personality, my personal idea of men.
Do you think women are different around?
Yes, I do. I do, because I know that my friends and we will say the dirtiest, nastiest shit. But understanding where we're coming from to each other, but we would never talk like that to a guy, especially a guy that we were interested in.
That's real talk.
So I feel like people are different things for different people and for
Right.
different situations.
Do you think that we're fools for being this honest?
Well, in the case of you not getting ass, because
Moshe told
because
an
of you.
anecdote. Go ahead.
Well, I said that there was a time, an indeterminate time, when a person came up to me at a show, and then I was like, "Oh, we should go out. We should kick it after the show." And she was like, "Have you listened to your own podcast?" I was like,
Damn,
fair.
I hate a shy bitch.
I was like, "Fair enough. You're right."
Yeah, so I feel like, that shit could bite you in the ass in some situations, but it could also open you up to something different. So it doesn't really bother me so much.
Well, this is what I think about comedy in general. See if you agree with me, Retta. That one of the things that you sell is when you become a professional entertainer, especially a comic, is you sell your own privacy. It's like you're done. That's the commodity that you've given to get into this game. So
That's
you can't.
if you've gotten to that point where you can be yourself. I feel like I didn't even get to that point until like a year or 2 years ago, where I felt like I was being more myself on stage.
The word privacy, though, but I don't think that you're being. I think we're selling our privacy more here on the podcast. I don't think in stand-up I'm selling my privacy.
When you do stand up, do you like give away your passwords and stuff?
Yeah, I'll be like,
Start off the set with like, here's my Hotmail.
My Yahoo.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Jay.
it's plur rave love techno oneer.
I don't in stand-up. I don't feel like you're giving your privacy away.
I think so. When I watch you do stand up, I know a lot about you.
Right.
That you wouldn't necessarily lead with. I mean, all your shit about ladies.
Yeah, but that's all how I feel about ladies.
That's sort of a classic Neal Brennan. He goes, ladies.
Yeah, you got it. Well, because I don't know how else to talk about women in my act without it sounding hacky.
Well, I will say that we got a lot of emails after the last episode of women writing and supporting us and saying how much they loved the insider. It's like being in a locker room, but with like really sort of semi-gay dudes.
Who was on your last one?
All right, broskies.
Last one was Charlie Murphy. The one
Charlie
before
Murphy.
that was Roy Wood Jr.
Roy Wood Jr. We got into some
I
shit.
listened to that one.
And Roy got. Can we
Roy,
say this?
yeah,
Roy
Roy-
got an email saying, what was it?
Something about you think you're ever hitting
Yeah.
his ass again after
Yeah.
what you said on that podcast.
Yeah. He's like, well, I just got my first "you ain't never hitting this again" email after the champs. What did you see the Adam Carolla thing?
I did.
Let's talk about it.
What's that?
So Adam Carolla said, what did he say?
It's what he said wasn't as inflammatory as people made it.
I completely disagree with
Of
you.
course you
Yeah,
do.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
And
Want me to pull up the
wasn't-
clip?
Yeah.
It's not a clip. It's a New York Post article. I'll bring it up.
You want me to
I'll bring it up.
He
text to
he
speech
says
it?
he would tell his daughter to be a writer because they have to hire women. They're never the funniest women, and they're never the funniest people in the room. They have to hire women, and you won't get fired because they have to keep you there.
Right.
Essentially. is what he was
Yeah, if I had a daughter, I would tell her to work on a sitcom because you'll never have to work and you'll never get fired because you have to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty ridiculous.
Hold on. Let's see. Let's see
But
just how
just to
ridiculous it
be
was.
devil's advocate, what if that's coming from a place of truth from him? Like that's his experience.
Well, I mean, it's like a.
Well, it's a little narrow-minded to think that in all of life, just because it happened to you.
I know, but Adam Carolla, he says a lot of things that like I'm like, what the fuck, you?
Yeah, I that's part
He's
of why
kinda
it
like a
didn't
little bit of a
really
Rush Limbaugh
bug me.
kinda guy, you
Like
know?
it didn't really throw me. So I just was like, my comment on Twitter, which I really didn't realize how crazy it was and that it was going to get reposted on other
Yeah.
things. My comment when I first saw it, I was just like, eat a dick, but it didn't really mean anything. I was just saying it to a friend who had posted it and was mad about it. It was like, my thing was like, eat a dick. It's not that
Adam
big a deal,
Carolla.
you know? And then, so when everybody was commenting it, and then other, like, I think Jezebel and
Yeah.
whatever were posting what the funny women on Twitter are saying, I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean for
Yeah,
it to,
yeah.
I didn't want to be grouped into a thing
Yeah,
where
right.
it was like, you know, I was burning books and shit. I was just saying, whatever, fuck that guy. It wasn't that serious to me. And then I felt I needed to really make a joke, an actual joke. So I was like, okay,
Right.
what can I say about this? I can't remember what I did, but I posted some joke about it to say, okay, I don't want them to think that you know, as funny as I could get was eat a dick. I was just saying that.
Eat a dick's not bad. Though.
Eat a dick's a classic.
In terms
That's a
of
true
what,
classic.
Yeah, that's a good. That's like a good catch-all. That's probably the thing I want to DM to people most.
Oh yeah.
Just hey, eat a dick. Just by the way, eat a dick. Hold on, I've got Adam's thing here.
So
did you hate working with women? That's the question. No, but they make you hire a certain number of chicks. They're always the least funny on the writing staff. The reason why you don't...
That part was very sexist.
The reason why well, that's not provable. That's the thing. Is like...
Right.
That's that's just one of those things. It's like you say, they're the least funny. It's like, yeah, but you can't really prove that.
Yeah, but that's like saying, all
the
black
dude,
dudes have big dicks.
yeah,
I mean, it's not provable. I mean, it probably is provable, but
Right.
it would take a lot of time.
And we're starting here today, ladies and gentlemen.
The reason why
Send in your measurements.
The reason why you know more funny dudes than funny chicks is that dudes are funnier than chicks. If my daughter has a mediocre sense of humor, I'm just going to tell her, quote, be a staff writer for a sitcom because they have to hire you. They can't really fire you, and you don't have to produce that much. It'll be awesome. The, quote, are women funny debate has grown very contentious. You're not worried about reactions to this? That was a writer. He said, I don't care. When you're picking a basketball team, you'll take the brother over the guy with the yarmulke. Why? Because you're playing the odds.
Okay, now I
when
actually
it
take
comes to
offense.
comedy, of course, there's Sarah Silverman, Tina Fey, Kathy Griffin, super funny chicks. But if you're playing the odds, no. If Joy Behar or Sherry Shepard was a dude, they'd be off TV. They're funny, and they're not funny enough for dudes. What if Roseanne Barr was a dude? Then we'd know who she was.
Then we would not know who she was.
Think we'd know who she was? Honestly, yeah. So that's the quote.
What I'm curious, I don't even know why people feel the need to keep bringing this argument up.
Well, that was my thing. If there's such, it would be like if you said white guys with MBAs don't do well on Wall Street. It's like it's been disproven. They wouldn't. White guys with MBAs wouldn't even acknowledge it because they'd be too busy. Like, what the fuck are you talking
Making
about?
money.
Yeah,
Right.
like what the fuck are you talking? So the fact that that women were so upset, sort of
people.
Yeah, but especially women.
Sure.
Sorry, I know that.
No,
there was
no,
a,
no,
there
no,
was a
I'm not talking
majority
shit.
of
I'm
women-
just saying-
there were more women upset than men.
Okay.
But I also feel like because it was women, they were more vocal about it. I feel like guys were like, fuck that guy, too. They're just like, I'm not pressed to fucking get on Twitter and be all about it.
Right.
So I just think, I think everybody, for the most part, people were like, really? Come on, son.
I think,
But
yeah.
but it was just women felt the need to say something about it.
Can we even talk about if, in general, you think men are funnier than women?
I'm willing to talk, Retta.
Yeah.
I'm willing to talk
Because
about
I've heard women say that they think men are funnier than women. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't personally.
I don't
That men
either.
are funnier than women.
I think here's what's up.
Because it's also because of tastes. I know my tastes, and there's I'll say a lot in black comedy. There's a dearth of just filth and dirty comedy, and that's not my comedy.
Right.
I don't enjoy that. So to me,
Even if it's well done?
I enjoy that. I like a smart joke. If it's dirty, but if it's smart, I enjoy it. But if it's just like it's the rehash of the, so I'm fucking this bitch and you're humping a stool,
You
got
got
it.
to fuck the
Been
stool.
You have
there,
to wait. You
done
don't
that.
fuck the stool.
You got
I
to
don't.
smell.
Hold on, Retta. You don't stool fuck.
Baby girl.
Unless there's somebody on it.
Well,
I'm
this
not
is
gonna
why
fuck
they
the
say
stool.
women. See, this you're proving it. Women aren't as funny as men. If you don't fuck the stool, it's a classic. Well, here's what I think. I think that society teaches women to be less vocal in general. It's you see it in the classroom, like women raise their hands less often. So that being said,
When there's men around.
yeah.
But that's you've seen the studies.
Yeah, but on
Right.
Twitter, there's no men around.
that
So
is
that's
correct.
why they're all saying it.
So there's going to be less. So society
I
encourages
tweeted
women to
yesterday.
be less vocal and to be less outwardly funny. So that being said, demographically, there are less women in comedy than there are men. That's actually true, right? There are more male comics than there are females, and of comics. 10% are funny. So therefore you can look at comedy and go, oh, there's so few funny women, but it's really there's so few funny people and there's so few women in comedy. I find some of the best comics, some of my favorite comics in the world are women, right?
Yeah, I have more favorite male comics than female comics.
Favorite male comics than female.
Yeah.
If people ask
when
me
people ask me who are my favorite comics of all time, I will say probably 8 dudes' names. And then there's another category like, what about women? Then I'll go like, all right, Wanda.
yeah, but what I'm saying is like how many women are even in comedy? There's probably more than 8 times as many men and as there
Do
are
you think there's
women.
more men in comedy because, like, evolutionarily, we had to be like use being funny as a thing to like attract a mate?
That was Christopher Hitchens' point in when he said that women
So
are
therefore,
funny.
there's just more men in comedy. Not that they're necessarily funnier. There's just more of them there.
What do you think?
I can see how, like, if you're an unattractive dude, you have to be like, whereas if you're an attractive
You gotta do
girl,
something. You gotta
you're
join a
just-
band, or
You're
you
like,
gotta-
you know, I'm gonna get some better tits, or like, that's not gonna be your first choice. Is to get your comedy game up,
Right.
To pull a dude.
Well, that's the other thing is that men. I think men do find a funny woman intimidating a lot of the time, and so there's also.
I find a funny woman unnecessary.
What does that mean?
I've lost ass over this as well.
You're about to lose more. Go ahead.
Unnecessary.
I
you don't
know
need to
where
be amused
comedy.
by
Yeah,
it.
I know where comedy comes from. I don't want that around me from a woman. I like it with
when you-
dudes. I don't. It's like when a girl says, "I don't want to. I want to be the pretty one in the relationship. I don't want a guy who takes longer to get ready than me." That's how I feel about comedy. It's like I don't need a girl who's like
I
coming
get
up
that,
with bits and
but that's
thinking about
your-
writing snaps about my ears and hair and shit.
But I get that. That makes sense to me. I probably don't want to. I don't want somebody who's going to be fucking trying out bits on me.
Right.
But I don't
Hey,
mind.
baby.
That's
being
just
around
annoying,
a
man
funny,
or
yeah,
woman.
a
Retta,
funny guy.
Retta.
So, yeah.
Hey, baby, that was so sweet. That love making. But listen,
You ever been to the
you ever
grocery
done it?
store? You ever be at the grocery
You ever
store?
seen them cats with no hair on them? Like
You know
bald
how they have
pussy.
that-
What?
They have a divider between the two people in the 10 items or less line. First of
you
all,
even
Baby,
serious?
motherfucker, you got a dozen eggs. Get out of the 10 items or less line.
Just that alone.
But
Is there anything there? Can you get me on Parks?
that's
hook you up
that's
with
the
the
thing is
extras.
I have more. It's a different category. Now I think Joan Rivers is because that's the thing is when you say it's harder for women to get into comedy. In some ways, it's hard for everyone to get into comedy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I think it's like, you don't think it's hard for everyone?
No, not really. I think if you go to a bringer show and there's
Bring
9
her?
guys and 1 girl and 8 of the guys fucking suck ass, 1 guy's funny, the girl's kind of funny. Next show, there's not gonna be more girls on that fucking bringer show. They're gonna still bring more guys. It's just a mindset with how people see.
Wait, what do you mean? Why?
In
who
other
is
words,
that
when
up
they're
to?
booking, whoever's booking, people have a mindset. Unless it's a girl booker and she does she feels she needs to do half men, half women. If it's a guy booking a show, and it's a kind of like a bringer show, and a guy who fucking sucks, he brings 20 people.
Right.
He still sucks, but he's gonna book that guy because he brought those people. Even if 10 girls come up and say they can bring 20 people each, he's like, I'll take 2 of you. They're just not gonna
Right, and it's
book more girls.
Yeah, what I find repugnant are these shows. These like female, sexy, funny ladies in sex,
Yeah.
hot ladies that also do comedy. Or when the MC brings a comic up and says some shit about, this next young lady, very beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Like what?
It's hard to listen to comedy right now.
I will hear my own intros sometimes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
What you say to bring
yeah,
someone
like
up?
I whenever I have to bring up Eliza Slusher, I'm like, this next young comedian. I'm like, what am I saying?
Right.
I feel like Johnny Carson. Like, this is a funny young lady.
I legit.
Because you haven't opened your mind to what
Relative newcomer, Neal
You know what it
Brennan.
is?
about her,
When I
or-
bring up Leslie, I don't even think about her being a girl or whether she's hot or whether it's just Leslie. The first time I saw Leslie was
Leslie
opening
Jones.
for Cat Williams.
Is that Big Les?
Yeah.
Okay.
Opening for Cat Williams, fucking destroying
Right.
it at the Universal
Right.
Amphitheater. So I was just like, that chick's a bad motherfucker. So I don't even think
There's
of
a
her
lot
in
of bad
terms-
motherfuckers. I mean, there's a lot of people that just. I legit.
Yeah, but if you're
It's
if
never-
you're bringing up Cheryl Underwood and the first time you've seen Cheryl Underwood is fucking destroying on Def Comedy Jam, you're not even gonna think of her as the first time I saw Eliza was off stage. She's good looking, so she takes that place in my mind, and then it becomes about she's a comedian, she's funny, she won this, she won that.
I know
That's her intro.
This is just gonna sound like more Moshe being a PC sensitive dude, but I legit never. It never crosses my mind to mention the gender of a person that I'm bringing. It never occurs to me to go, this next young lady come into the stage, this beautiful. I've never.
But you'll see on black shows, like, y'all ready to hear a woman's perspective?
Yeah.
And that goes crazy. And it's like, well, I don't feel like they're being sexist. I think they're.
Yeah, they are. You don't feel like they are? Oh my God, they totally
all the women
are.
in the crowd cheer. That's the thing.
What does
Like,
that mean? What does that mean?
Like
Wake
it's
up and
about
tell your
it's
pussy.
If you
usually
go
about
into
the sex
Afghanistan,
and straight.
Yeah, but if you go into
Finally.
Afghanistan and you
It's
go,
finally
we're about to
here.
stone this woman to death, then some women will be like, la 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 la. You know what I mean? That's a legit provable fact. What I just said.
What?
Yeah, that's
They're like
fact.
into
I don't
it?
think it's that analogous.
I'm just kidding.
I think, yeah, but I think you think it's a finally thing.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's. I mean, maybe whoever's bringing them up knows they're going to get that kind of reaction, and so they choose to do it. But chances are they don't know what to say. They fucking don't know what to say about a woman. They don't know how to come up. Just like when one of my things I can't stand is when people call me sassy, because it's fucking lazy. You're just seeing a big black woman and you know that
I don't even see big black. I just see sassy.
Whatever the case.
I just
that's your head.
I see
That's your
all.
head.
I see the word sassy.
Most
I'm not even seeing a
people
person.
say sassy,
Yeah.
and it drives me fucking crazy. And I'm like, well,
Right.
why do you think I'm sassy? It's like,
Right.
because you fucking read that motherfucker. Okay, then just say I'm smart and I can fucking hang. Don't tell me I'm sassy. Because it's simple. It's just the easiest thing to go to. So I feel like people don't take the time to think of what it is they want to portray or relay about this next comic. And so she's a woman. She's got legs up to here. I never, if I'm introing some dude, I'm like, he's got a gap tooth, and I think that shit is sexy. I've never said that.
Right. I agree. I've never mentioned a woman's looks or beauty. I just find myself using code words like comedian.
Right,
And,
that's
and
why-
I literally will make fun of myself. Like, what am I talking
Well,
about?
that's what
Do
you're
you
saying.
host a lot?
It's just lazy.
No, but at the
Like at the
comedy store, you
comedy
have to bring people up.
Oh, you gotta
have
bring the next person.
Well,
up.
yeah, that's what I think. That's what you're saying is like no one of us ever feels imposed upon to say this next male coming to the stage,
Tall.
and the fact this next young man.
Well, I would say this next guy. Like,
yeah, but
you
you don't
mention
mean
a
it
gender?
like you don't mean it like that.
This next person.
You don't mean it like that. You don't. When you say this next guy, you don't mean this next male comedian. I've used gender pronouns bringing someone up. I'm not saying that I've been like, this your next
dare you
comic.
use a
I've
pronoun.
seen her on blah. You've seen her. I mean, it's not like I'm like you've seen
But
it.
the whole point of it is when you say this next guy, you're not thinking man. You're not thinking. You haven't given yourself parameters as to what's to come on stage. But when you say this next woman, everyone, even you, because you notice yourself saying it, whatever the case, whether you say woman or not, you notice yourself saying it. And so you're like almost warning the audience, look, you need to fucking give her a moment because she's a woman. She's not as funny because you're just making that up. And I know it's in my head because it bothers me when I hear people say it.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I think that's legit.
So you think it is harder for women to get into comedy?
Yes. I think it's harder, not necessarily not because they don't want to, but if you start doing comedy and you see how fucking hard it is to get a set somewhere, and you come in hearing women aren't funny, women aren't funny, women aren't funny. It's in your head. That's all it is. I started in North Carolina, so it wasn't the same. It's not like I was going to comedy shows and seeing that it was a bunch of dudes, and I just randomly started because I wanted my own sitcom, and I saw that so many comics had their own shows.
Wait,
so
you were an actor in North Carolina?
No.
You were just
I was
a
a
young
chemist.
person, a chemist.
Yeah, I was a science girl.
That is very sassy that you were a chemist. I have to say.
You would read those chemicals.
You must have been a very
Girl,
sassy
you would
chemist.
break them chemicals down to the sassy assies.
My thing, I came from no knowledge, and I might not have done it had I known that it was such a big deal. And when I started at Charlie Goodnight's. I was so nervous about my whole thing. I didn't notice I was the only girl on the show. I didn't notice because there were a lot of girls in the audience because open mic night it was only $5, so all the students from NC State used to come. So it was like half and half. It was always mixed. They came in groups. So as far as I was concerned, the audiences were mixed. I didn't notice that it was, a male heavy until I started doing it, and all the headliners were men. I almost never saw a female headliner.
Did you do well your first time?
Kidding me.
I did okay, and I did enough for the guy who ran the open mic to invite me to take his comedy class, and he's like, and you don't
That's
have
nice
to
of
pay.
him.
Oh,
no,
really?
he's like, you don't. He's like, I think you're really funny.
That's okay.
I won't charge you.
Oh,
All right,
that's
I have
neat.
two thoughts about this.
About what?
About if there's fewer women. Did you not see that as an advantage? Because I've heard female comics say there aren't a lot of female comics, which is an advantage. it makes me more unique.
No, I didn't see it as that. Because, like I said, when I came into it, I didn't know a lot about it, and I was fucking funny. So it didn't. I was like, yeah, I'm booking more because I'm funnier than these fucking dogs that were coming up. So it wasn't. I came in differently. If I had been someone who went to comedy shows and saw open mics and saw there were a bunch of guys, a lot of them sucked, but they still kept coming on, and there were girls, and every once in a while you'd see one that was funny, but the ones who weren't funny weren't coming back, like that kind of. If I had seen that, I would have had it within me to say, fuck, it's hard, it's really hard for girls. I came out of nowhere, so I had no comedy knowledge.
But you still don't see it as an advantage, because like here was the thing when I saw Bridesmaids, because for years I always felt like female comedies were lying to women, meaning like they were never good. Mm-hmm. The second act break, the reason why at the end of the second act when the friends split apart, it was always a fucking stupid reason. Mm-hmm. Somebody always overheard somebody. There was a slight mix-up. Whereas the breakup in Bridesmaids was real, was genuine. I've seen it 1,000 times with real women I knew. Mm-hmm. So I was like, finally. Now, also, the laws that govern female behavior, the list of things that women can't do is so much longer than the list of things that men can't do, that there's actually way more opportunities for women to be funny because the list is so much longer. So when I saw Bridesmaids, I was like, this is a chance where women could actually just be funnier than men forever.
But you don't see, but the reason it was stopped is societal. It's, male... Even female executives aren't gonna fucking greenlight a show like that, a movie like that. I believe it took having Judd Apatow connected to it and being a hit maker to say, okay, we'll try it. Hangover, was one of those things that was it was so over the top. There's so many comedies that are just so grossly not what you would expect to see, that Bridesmaid came just under it, and it had Judd's name attached to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't think that made it. What I'm saying is...
I'm saying getting it made, not that it was funny. It was funny. I think getting the green light. And I think most people wouldn't even bother because they're like, they're not going to have a fucking girl. They're not going to let you make a movie about a girl shitting in a sink. They're not going to do it.
Right, but they did Amy and Tina made Baby Mama, and they shouldn't sink. You know what I mean? Like they
shit in a sink in that movie as well?
She pissed in a sink.
And in Bridesmaid, they shit in a sink?
No,
she had diarrhea in a sink.
She had diarrhea in a
Is that a thing that I don't know about women?
It's like a fucking the stool kind of thing.
They don't use toilets.
No, it was just too many.
We don't fuck stools, but we do. We do make waste matter in sinks. That's our thing. But I was gonna say, like, I think, like, when you do a black show.
That was my next analogy. So I love going in when someone goes, "You're not funny."
Of course you do.
Black guy.
But you know what I mean? Like, you do a black show. When you're a white comic, you do a black show. It's always a thing. It's always like, okay, everybody, hey, here's white dude. And then when you get on stage, you're not Neal Brennan, the guy that did the Chappelle show. You're just some white dude. I'm not saying you can't do it. I know you can, and you'll thrive because you're kind of a black comic yourself anyway. But you do have to go, all right, motherfuckers, I'm funny even though I'm white.
Right.
It's a real nigga.
So every show you ever do as a female comic is that dynamic. All right, I get it, but here I'm funny.
You want to get racist about it?
I think, but it gets probably better every month.
I'm just saying until you're known, every time you go on stage, the crowd is. Do you agree?
Right.
Is going.
Yeah, that's the
is
point I
going.
was
Show me the money, kind of a
really?
thing.
Because I feel like there's so many. Because if I saw a woman on stage, I'd just be like, Wanda's a woman, and Ellen's a woman, and Roseanne's a woman, and Tina and Sarah and Polar and.
You're right. Those are all women.
Like they're
definitely
all funny, and Natasha is funny, and Chelsea's.
There's
funny.
so many funny.
Yeah,
there's so many funny comics.
Yeah. But I like the thing of like, oh, you're not going to be funny. I love that thing of like, you can't do it. Okay, fine. Yeah. It just makes the tension more.
Yeah, but that's personality-wise. That's personality-wise. For me, you're like, all right, yeah. Me, I'm like, ugh, really? Then I'm just fucking annoyed with you.
Right.
As opposed to being like, bring it, bitch.
Right.
That's not my bring it, bitch.
But I don't feel like any
if you try to tell me I'm not smart,
walks on stage and people are like, "You're funny. You're definitely funny." Nobody, you know what I mean? Like,
nobody does that, but not every like when you go up in a not black room as a white comic, nobody's going, Come on. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, no one walks. No one. That's the thing about. That's what's so hard about stand-up is you go on stage at a natural disadvantage.
Well, comparatively, how many times have you seen a guy who you're like, this motherfucker is not funny, and he walks on cocky as shit, does his shitty fucking set, walks off like I just ripped that bitch.
Right.
You've seen that a lot more from men
And they
than you
did
see
rip
it
it?
from and they didn't.
Right.
But women, you don't see that from women who I've never seen a girl go on stage, suck ass, and then walk off like
Swag.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah. No, there's I know a female comic that's like, be like, where's this confidence?
Okay. Comparatively, how many?
Oh
men
yeah, no,
to
it's
women?
5-1.
So why did you want to do comedy?
Because I wanted to get my own sitcom.
Where did that idea come from? Just like in North Carolina, you're a chemist. You just you just stopped teaching high school. You hooked up with a guy named Jesse. You guys are making meth together.
I did acting, took acting classes in school, and I was into acting, but I was like, you can't be an actor. Like, and then once I graduated, I was supposed to go to medical school, and I was like, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to, keep my mind in science, but take a year off from school, and but I still was into acting, and I would watch these sitcoms and see that it was a friend who pointed out to me, I was saying how I really want to get back into acting, and she was like, well, why don't you just do stand-up? Don't all stand-ups get their own show? And so I was like, you're right. And so I just started doing stand-up.
What was your sitcom that you liked? What was your favorite show? The one that kind of was like your favorite.
I used to like.
Just say it. 227. We get it. We get it. 227.
I used to like it, but I used to think it was kind of corny, but I thought it was so cool that black people could do comedy on TV and be successful at it. Because I remembered the Jeffersons, and I was like, that was the only thing. The Jeffersons I liked. I didn't like Good Times because I
couldn't watch it either.
Aesthetically, I didn't like. I didn't like that they were poor and that their house was so shitty, and just like I didn't like MASH because there weren't enough colors on that show. Certain things I couldn't watch.
Production design or black people?
Yes.
Did you
production
grow,
design?
Did you grow up well off?
No.
Did you like Martin?
I liked Martin well enough. I wasn't as pressed about it, but.
Where is the mainstream black show on? Am I missing something? There's not really a mainstream black show on TV right now, right?
Well, not right now.
Game?
I mean, I don't know if
The Game. What is that?
It's on BET.
Okay, mainstream.
It
gets like
it was on
4.
It
gets bigger numbers than most shows.
Nobody, no show on BET is being watched by a mainstream, like how Cosby Show is watched by America.
No show in America is being watched.
That's fair, but I'm just saying, like, where's that main?
There's no main.
The big one
Where's
was
the Family Matters or the
was Girlfriends. That was the big one.
Yeah.
That was the last big one as far as I'm concerned.
Interesting.
And Girlfriends had a really interesting tone.
I liked it.
I did too.
I didn't like it when it started because they would do those pop-up bubbles where she was talking to the camera, and they stopped that shit. That was the first season.
I hate a show where they talk to the camera. Right, Retta? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Parks and Rec.
You're damn right, we're sluts.
Well, yeah. I mean, so then you came from. I wanted to ask you, what do you feel like it was a bigger hurdle for you, being black or being a woman?
For what?
Just for getting Hollywood to do what you wanted them to do.
You mean post North Carolina coming here?
So yeah, well, take us through how you got here. How did you?
I started stand up back in '96. I did it for a year, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna move to LA" because my goal was to get on television. And so I was like, I don't have kids. I just got in the car, drove. I came here. I did every fucking open mic, every bringer bullshit, and
how are you paying your rent?
At first, I was temping, and then one of the temp people, I'm very, very organized. And so one of the jobs, I cleaned out this office, and so they bought out my contract and hired me. So I would work there in the day. I cleaned up their fucking computers. And then I would do stand-up at night. So I did the open mics. And then I was at an open mic, and I remember this comic was talking about Jenny Jones was asking for submissions from comics because she's going to do an all stand-up show. And no, this wasn't this guy. I heard about that. I heard about it the day before the deadline. So I took an old tape and FedExed it and got on that show.
Jenny Jones.
Yes,
it's a big break.
So I did the that all-female show. And then
Were you guys mad that there were no men on the show?
Nope.
Go ahead.
Nope. And then when
Go ahead, folks.
When we that got me my college agent, and so he started submitting me for NACA, and in that time, probably like a year later, Comedy Central had their first stand-up competition. And I heard some comic talking about it, and I asked him, "What are you talking about?" And he didn't want to tell me. And I was like, "Really, dude? Just to submit to the site to fill out the application." Anyway, I filled it out, and I got on it. He didn't, and I won it.
You won the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I won that, and then that's when I got all my heat in L.A. And so I went to Montreal. I had a deal. Then the deal died, and just working, and then I auditioned for Parks.
And what was that like?
It was pretty good. I tend to be a talker, so I'm better at go-sees and meet and greets than I am at an actual audition. And the part for Donna was not a fleshed out part. It wasn't really written. So they wrote a scene, I read it, but then Mike Shore was asking me questions, so I was just chatting. And what he said was, "Oh, I like your watch." And I'm a big shopper, and I started fucking.
Was that it?
No, and it wasn't this one. But I talked for like 10 minutes about this watch. I was like, there's a new site. It's called Guilt Group. You can get fancy high-end things for a good price, and I can invite you if you'd like. You have to be invited to be a member. Like, it was that whole thing. And I think they were stunned at how fucking into online shopping I was.
And that's what got you this.
I feel like that's what got he doesn't really remember, but I remember I was talking along that, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave y'all.
So to the
but if you'd like that invite, I can hook it up.
To the up-and-coming actors listening to the podcast, that's some great advice. Like, when you go in, ignore the sides, ignore your lines. You just talk. Just talk.
There's
showrunners like that, right?
No, there's some truth to that. No, I do very well in meetings just because you just go and do crowd work.
Right.
Oh yeah,
that's
for
what
sure.
you're doing
In a meeting, yeah.
But if they invite you to talk, that's you're in, because I feel like I'm a better chatter than I am an auditioner.
For sure, me too, 100%.
And I also know, like, doing movies and doing TV shows is like, if you can think of something funny to say it.
Right.
Don't be waiting for someone to maybe say no.
Wait.
If the camera, Donnell Rawlings used to say, give me a mic because I'm saying something. Literally, he was like, I'm going to say something. Like Chappelle would do that when he was doing movies. He's just like, all right, I'm just going to ramble, and then if they want me to stop, I'll stop. But in the meantime, I'm just going to talk. And that's how I've gotten jobs more from talking than submissions.
I think cause how many times have you seen, if I see an actor in something and I don't think they're good, and I'm like, seriously, how did you fucking get this job? I'm like, he's good in the room.
Yeah.
He's good in the room, and that's how he got that job.
Or some people are good. There's something about auditioning that's so false.
It's weird.
That you can be good at auditioning, and then you get on camera, and as a director, you're just kind of like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
You fucking fooled me.
You
tricked
me.
me.
Oh, you motherfucker.
You pulled the wool
and I
over his
can't do
eyes.
anything now. I just have to shoot around.
Do you see why that's very difficult for me to believe?
And by the third take, you're like, okay, motherfucker. Okay. What are we gonna do? What would you do if you were me?
Have you ever said anything like that?
I've never said.
Have you ever legit humiliated someone?
No, Woody Allen does. Woody Allen will go like, less terrible.
No, really?
Yes. Seriously.
Less terrible? Like, how not terrible, Woody? Like, not fucking your daughter terrible? Or
yeah.
Do you see the tweet on Father's Day from...
Oh, genius.
You saw that? Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
I replied, and she favorited it. I felt good about that.
What was
Mia Farrow?
Yeah.
What happened?
The Twitter was
Ronan
from...
Farrow,
wrote-
Mia Farrow and Woody Allen's daughter.
Wrote, Happy Father's Day, or as we say it...
Son.
Yeah, this is Woody Allen's son. Said, Happy Father's Day, or as we say it in my family, Happy Brother-in-Law's Day. Just fucking
And he's
gangster.
like a UN ambassador, that kid.
You gotta
he's
look
the
at
man.
this. There's this great picture of Woody Allen and Sun Yi. That's her name, right?
Yeah.
And Kim Jong Il at the Knicks game, like when she's like 10 and he's like 50 or whatever. She's sitting on his lap, and it's like the most grotesque. With hindsight, with 2020
Right,
hindsight,
yeah.
it's like the most grotesque thing. Yeah, you just think about Woody Allen's a little hard dick. Like,
Having said that, they've outlasted the Mia Farrow relationship.
that is so true.
They've
They've doubled it.
Crazy.
Right.
So you kind of go, I don't know.
Well, but you're leaving out the part where she was his adopted daughter.
Absolutely.
And had time to hypnotize
It's not
her.
just about longevity.
No, but it's
It's a
like
good
that was
relationship.
Like, remember when Macaulay Culkin married that girl when they were like 18?
Who? Mila
Rachel,
Kunis?
No, Rachel Minor. I always wanted it to last forever. Like, I was just like, that would be hilarious. If
Yeah.
They just like they met each other. It was a fucking. They should have never got married.
That's how I felt about Michael Jackson and Lisa Presley.
That was.
I
legit.
wanted it to last just so that everybody could be like, really?
Yeah.
Like
What's
Paul
happening
Newman
behind
and-
those closed doors?
Well,
He said
yeah.
no.
Speaking of, Tom and Katie broke up just this very week.
Yeah.
What, thoughts, guys?
I had a hot tweet.
I had a hot tweet as well.
What was it?
What was your hot tweet?
My hot tweet was the CNN : the Katie Holmes hostage situation has ended. I got 4,000 retweets.
You're lying.
I'm not lying at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe it. Because that's what
4,100.
went through my head. I was like, how did she get out? Like, how did she? I pictured
It's the most
her
popular tweet I've ever had.
in the
I
middle of
actually
a
had
fight.
my most popular tweet as well, but it was not 4,000.
You on Twitter and Facebook.
It was what a sad, prearranged, mutually agreed upon, contractually obligated day for Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I had one.
Yeah, what was yours?
mutually agreed upon.
I got maybe like 12 retweets on
Very
mine.
cool.
Go.
Pretty cool. I said I'm glad that they're getting divorced. Now Tom will come to poker night.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, you wrote Tom. You wrote Tommy.
Tommy, yeah.
Yeah, Tommy.
Will come to poker
It was
night.
well written, guys. It was
It was
Retta?
really well written.
Retta?
What did you have?
I didn't.
And how many
fucking
retweets?
Retta.
Get up
didn't
off
tweet
Twitter.
about it. I didn't, and I heard about it before it came out. Somebody had sent me a thing, so I didn't realize it was out. I
Tommy
thought-
texted me before
what did they send
it
you?
went to press.
It was somebody from
Tommy C?
Us Weekly that was like, "Girl, I got some Tom and Katie."
How many
scoop."
days before?
It wasn't days before. I think it was hours before it actually hit, and I was like, "Shut your fucking mouth!" And she was like, "Yeah, girl, she got out." And then I saw all these tweets about it later on. And I was like, "Oh."
And she kept saying, "Yeah, girl." It was
Well,
like
actually,
it was all
she didn't say
sassy
"yeah,
like
girl"
that?
at all.
That's just the way that you say stuff
It wasn't
because
that sassy. You
are
convert
sassy.
everything into sass.
You're a sass converter.
You convert.
I worry about Tommy C as well. I mean, poor guy, you know?
I guess he's a human being.
Right. He's probably got robot parts.
I mean, it's somebody said it's being with him is like he's trying to act like what a human being
Yes,
would act.
I've heard that too. People who have worked at places where he has to go for interviews and stuff, and like he watches people, and then I feel like he does what
No
he thinks
way.
he needs to do to be cool or down or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
in a
like his brain
situation.
is going like laugh now, and he goes like. Like honestly, that's what I've heard that repeatedly.
That's really funny. Oh, God, that's awful.
Yikes.
I kind of love him, though.
Oh well, that's the thing. Is like
He's
a
watchable.
great movie star.
He is.
He's a great movie star. That's why it's
I
like
wasn't into him. I had a period where I was kind of not into him until the last.
See,
Mission
women comics
Impossible.
always talking about their periods, man. It's like, this is what we're complaining about, guys.
We're
This is
saying.
the problem. Please, I'm sorry, Retta. I apologize.
No, I until this last movie, and I was like, God damn, he's a fucking movie star. This guy.
Yeah, right. I had the same
Fucking
exact
movie
experience.
star.
You watch it, you're like, this fucking idiot. What a
Mission
what
Impossible?
A, yeah,
Yeah, the
what a
last one.
what a lunatic. I don't want to watch this. Oh my God, look
It's
at
so-
him.
I
Wait,
was
he's on
like-
a motorcycle.
He's unbelievable.
You guys didn't tell me he was gonna run.
He's probably just always a movie star. Like he's acting. He needs to laugh at the right time. He's just always
Right.
an
That's
actor.
what he is.
He has not. Yeah, he's
always
he's,
acting.
he's
Well,
a shell.
Mel Gibson is like that too, but he's finally pushed us all to the brink, and no one.
But this is before the last recording when I saw him at Whole Foods.
yeah, you were mesmerized.
And everyone there,
Right.
everyone's first reaction when they saw him at Whole Foods is like, "Holy shit, it's fucking Riggs!" and then that's like 3 or 4 seconds of that, and then you see on their face going like, "Wait a minute,
It's Tom Cruise's website music.
No, it's not
Yeah.
really. Oh my God.
is that true?"
TomCruise.com.
That's
He's got a website.
fucking.
There's
Why
no way
does he need a website?
There's no way that's.
Look
And he's trying to
at
get the
this
word out.
website.
There's
That's
no way that's
insane.
his own website.
Everybody log into that.
Oh my God! It totally is his website.
Why
That's-
does he need
hilarious.
a website?
Right. What does Tom Cruise need a website for? Retta, feelings on Mel Gibson.
I just think he's a hot mess. He doesn't hurt my feelings personally. I just think he needs something. I don't know what.
Neal Brennan.
He's a great filmmaker. He's bipolar.
Okay. I'm gonna go with great filmmaker, piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
That's my vote. I'm gonna vote that. Doug.
I kind of like him.
You do. You're
No,
into it.
I don't know. No,
You
no.
would.
I mean, he said those things he said to his wife. That is the grossest shit I've ever heard.
I feel like people now.
Who would say that to someone?
There's
That's
a period.
Pig person.
Something happened in the fucking atmosphere that changed people to say the most vile and grotesque things to other.
It's called the internet.
The phrase.
It is the internet.
And a lot. Yes. I see it a lot on the internet because you can hide behind the internet. But people who say things like the phrase "get cancer" is the oddest, most obscene. It's crazy
How
to
about
me.
kill yourself?
Kill yourself. Kill yourself.
Yeah, kill yourself doesn't bother me as
Get
much.
cancer.
Unless you're talking to someone who, there's 2 people in his family that committed suicide, and
Right.
you're trying to fucking hit that point.
Oh,
kill
yeah.
yourself.
Kill
is just
yourself like your
really,
son.
should I kill myself? I feel like when people wish cancer upon someone, or
Tell me that the message
some
or
people
something,
are willing to say some of the most hideous things. I don't know if y'all remember that whole that email chain. I think it was like Mark Brazil and Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I ever saw "get cancer." I hope you get cancer and do something
Right.
and die, whatever.
It's a
And I was like,
line. The first time it was in movies was in King of Comedy.
it just seems so obscene to me. I don't understand. And so people have gotten to a place where they try to top how heinous you can say something to someone, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. So when people I hear people say things that I would never expect anyone to say. And they're saying it in all honesty, like, I fucking hope you get hit by a car. I hope you get raped. Like that shit, I hope you get raped.
People go to the internet has made it so that you cannot have a mild opinion.
Right.
Anywhere.
That's a bunch of fucking bullshit, Neal.
No, but that's what I
No,
mean.
just
Like,
kidding.
you can't have a mild opinion.
You guys get what I did there?
You can't have a mild opinion in the world. It's just not loud enough. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I was saying to somebody that people will have these long ass caveats now before they compliment you,
Right.
where they go like, "Look, I don't want to be that guy.
Right. No homo.
No homo. I'm sorry to waste your time. I just want to say I love you. I love you." Meaning, but if they don't like you, they'll just be like, "Fuck you."
Oh, that was really good, Neal.
Yeah.
Wait, Retta, to change subjects drastically, is your aunt the prime minister of Liberia or something?
President.
Talk about that shit.
I don't know her. My parents have met her. She was married. She's not married to him anymore. She was married to my dad's cousin. And in Liberia, if someone's older than you and your cousin, they're your aunt or your uncle. You don't call them. You're not equals, as my mother would say. We are not equals.
Right.
So yeah, she was that side of my family. They've all been kind of very political. And she married into it. Obviously, she was into that.
And she's the president of Liberia?
First female president. Mm-hmm.
That's so
She was
fucking
elected.
Honestly, though, there's not that many good female presidents. You know what I mean?
All right, can we?
Adam Carolla said
Adam had a great point about that. And
all
that got
female
no coverage.
Now, if I ever have a
He said
daughter,
statistically, if you're picking presidents,
yeah, if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to say run for president of Liberia because
do you think that women play a part in go ahead.
we're going to not talk about Liberia at all?
We can talk about it.
Shit,
I don't know
Liberia
shit
is the
about it.
craziest place on earth.
Do you know a lot about your aunt?
No. I know what you can find online. I mean, from my mom. My mom tells me she's always been like that. They used to call her when they were younger. They called her the Iron Lady, but she just said. And our family, they're very big on education, so she was like, yeah, she was one of the first people in the family to go to Harvard. She came to the States to go to school and that sort of thing. But other than that, I don't know anything. I don't really know. I just know she's president. I know my dad was at the last inauguration, hot as fuck, and he's on whatever website they had a picture. He was like, click to like page 72. You'll see me.
It's Liberia government / hot as fuck .lib.
LiberiaGovernment.com.
Dude, Liberia is one of the craziest countries on earth, one of the most volatile countries on earth. Here's what I know about Liberia.
Go.
There are warlords in Liberia. I saw this Vice magazine special on warlords in Liberia that eat children before they go into battle. Human being children.
Yeah.
It's you think you know gangsters because somebody's in the Crips? Nah. Try.
I don't know any gangsters.
I know hella gangsters. No, I don't.
You are a gangster.
Yeah, I
sort
mean,
of.
let him.
In many ways. Let them eat children?
I mean,
no,
I
don't
know.
let them eat children. That's a
I don't know. I
that's a
just have no
go-to
opinion.
position.
I
You
just
have no opinion on
I
eating
just-
children?
Look,
it's
not everyone's a
extreme-
vegan. Okay.
It's extremely remote to me. I don't know. Yeah. And
Yeah,
You don't
it's
have an
almost like-
opinion on
and in
eating
Japan,
children?
They make kids fucking no. To me,
It's almost silly
one
to
guy in a
verbalize it.
tribe.
It's not a tribe. These are straight up warlord
Yeah,
dudes.
again, this is being contextualized by Vice magazine. Who knows
I
what
will
they're
give you
doing.
your opinion on this. Don't eat children.
Oh yeah, I don't. It doesn't even.
You're down with that?
Yeah,
Boom.
it's not even on my list of hierarchy of needs. It's like, where are we on eating children? Like that's.
I need
Where are
food.
we?
I need
Where
food.
are you talking to me about eating children?
Where's
Okay,
that-
I need
that memo?
food, shelter, love.
okay. Are we done with Liberia? You wanted to get that out. That's
Dude,
all you
this
wanted.
is-
We talked about Liberia so that you could say that you saw a guy eat a baby.
And you could say,
And
I don't know how I feel about that. That seems morally kind
I
of
didn't
a push
stick
to
with
me.
it. I didn't stick with it for no reason. There's nothing in Liberia.
No, there is.
She should fucking. If it were interesting, she'd know about it. She'd talk about
Liberia
it.
is
She'd take
fascinating. It
advantage
was
of
a country that was started by African Americans who went back to Africa
Freed
and
slaves.
started a
Let's not-
country.
I
they
agree.
weren't African Americans then.
Back
They were
then.
freed. They were like freed slaves.
Wait,
like I'm out.
What is an African American?
What African American didn't come out until the late 70s.
Oh, right, the term. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
yeah,
they
yeah.
were. Oh, they were black, but they weren't. I didn't want to say slaves because they weren't slaves. So these were
Yeah, they call- yeah,
American
they say-
African.
yeah.
They weren't slaves.
They call well. That's what they say. They say that they're the freed slaves that because that was the feeling back then. You know, we're finally free. We're going back.
What year was this? Is this like the Marcus Garvey shit? Like the 20s?
It was like I think it was after Marcus Garvey.
Yeah,
I think it was like sort of semi-inspired by Marcus Garvey.
I don't know the dates. I don't keep up.
See, again,
What do you mean again?
if there was something there, we.
You want to eat children, dude. That's not my position.
I
You
wanna
hate
talk
children and
about
want to
women
eat
in
them.
Comedy. That's what's interesting to me.
All right.
And do women play a part in? I feel
well,
like.
wait. Here's what I want to say. The reason I keep sort of changing the subject is because I think it's almost emblematic.
Insulting to
It's
talk
almost
about,
emblematic of the problem to say, "Cool, Retta, female comic,
Right.
be the spokesperson for women in comedy, whether
Who
they're
brought
funny."
it up?
Yeah, you're right. I felt weird about doing it. I felt it felt like a really good conversational foray, and then I thought, well,
And
this
you
isn't
realized-
fair.
yeah.
This is like ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
like,
you,
know what I mean?
have to waste your time. You can't just be a funny person. You have to be like, so talk to us about the issues.
Right.
Yeah, it's like when in the 90s there was always like, I'm the first openly gay comic.
Right.
And then there was like always a something, and you couldn't just be a comic.
But speaking of gender and sexuality differentials within comedy, the funniest gay comics are lesbians. There's not a lot. More and more now, but your sort of classics are.
Again, you're making, you're doing what you're against, which is you're stereotyping.
There you go
a
again,
group of
Neal, with your
people.
politically correct. I'm
all
just
for saying like what you're saying is like only lesbians are funny.
I'm not saying
gay
that.
guys aren't as funny.
No. I'm
gay
saying-
guys are not as funny as lesbians.
Maybe you and
I
Carolla
hap-
can go on a tour together.
That's
I
great.
happen to agree with you, but what you're saying could be construed as controversial.
Fair. Retta, thoughts?
I'm not lesbian. I don't know.
Ooh, that's an insult to her.
I didn't
Ooh,
say
you're not lesbian.
Retta as a
Ooh, then how you
sassy,
gonna
as
make
a
it?
sassy
I
lesbian.
guess she's not as funny, huh?
Yeah, I guess to Moshe, you're not funny then. It's a fucking shame, Retta.
As a
Are you
sassy
sure?
child-eating lesbian.
You just think they have funnier subject matter to talk about.
No, I just think that your legends in gay comedy are well, they're Scott Thompson, so he's a gay man.
Wait,
I
he's
don't
not a
think he's a
lesbian
legend.
though.
I mean, within gay comedy,
Right.
yeah. Ellen, Paula Poundstone,
Oh, I don't think Scott's even in the same
Sandra
league with
Bernhardt.
him. I think it's Wanda.
Wanda's gay, right?
Yeah, Wanda was so funny she had to become gay. She was so literally they were like, "You're too straight. You're too funny to be straight."
So Retta, now you're on Parks, and Parks ends this year, right? Or maybe
don't know.
who knows? Let's say it ends in 5 years, but whatever. So you have this. What's the sitcom? What's the Retta show? You don't have to pitch it, but just like what's your sort of
I don't know. That's like, that question is the bane of my existence. I feel like that was the thing, when I first got here, because I said I wanted, my own show. They were like, well, what's your comedy like? That's the hardest thing for me to answer.
It's obnoxious. It's an obnoxious question.
You just watch the set. You fucking tell me.
Right.
I think I know what you need.
I just do. What do I need?
You need a co-creator.
Is that right?
Yeah, we do have a
have a
hookup on
co-creator
a
right
strong
here.
co-creator.
Look, guys.
You do?
We know a co-creator that's pretty prolific. Oh, Neal. There he is. Oh, hey, Neal.
I was thinking the other day, I need a co-creator.
Right.
I was like, I wish someone would come and just go, you know what you should do? And then I could do it. Because I can't. It's
What
hard
if
to
it
think
was
of your
Dave
own thing.
Chappelle? That would blow your mind.
I yelled that at him one time.
Yeah.
I was like, you have a me. I don't have a fucking me. You'll never be me to me.
But will never be. He'll never be you to you.
I will
the
never
other
be
thing.
a charismatic. Yes, absolutely. I mean, he's more charismatic than me. He's dynamite. Everybody knows how I feel about Dave Chappelle.
God love Dave Chappelle.
God bless him.
God love
So what do you see when you think I want a sitcom? What do you picture? You picture like you as I Love Lucy, like stuck in a fucking factory?
No.
Like what do you picture?
No. I don't know. I picture myself in charge, whatever it is. So if it's like a workplace comedy, I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a family thing, which I kind of don't see because I don't have a family of my own, but I'm the boss.
So it's like, who's the boss meets Charles in charge.
Something like that. Only black.
Only black.
But it would never. No, I would, and I wouldn't want it to be a black show.
Why don't you have a family?
Why don't I personally
Yeah.
have a family? I don't know.
Are you capable of love?
Yes.
Have you fallen in love with men?
Yes, way more than I ought to.
Yeah?
Yeah,
The wrong
especially
guys?
the ones that don't love me.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, I'm kind of in a place like I was like I want love. I want somebody give me love. I feel like, and
Done.
then you get to that point where
Sorry.
you're like, what's wrong with me? Not that I think there's anything wrong with me. Then I start thinking, well, why is everybody else fucking crazy?
Oh,
don't you get it? Don't you get it?
Welcome to the champs. You're one of us. That's fantastic. We're all like that too.
And I don't know if everybody else is crazy.
Oh, right.
Do you find that all your girlfriends are getting married and shit? And they have good relationships?
It's half and half. And the ones that have gotten married, like, I don't idealize marriage.
Yeah.
I think I might have done it like right out of college, but I do not idealize it. But I feel like I have the tools to make it work now, having seen what my friends go through, knowing what my parents are like, having seen what my friends go through.
What do they go through?
Just not understanding that it's not perfect. Just because it was perfect in the beginning doesn't mean it's going to stay perfect. Kids don't make it easier. If a guy was a dick when you were dating, but then he asked you to marry him and you thought he was different because you never thought he would even ask you to marry him, chances are he's going to be a dick when you're married. It's not.
Yeah.
Shit didn't change overnight.
Would you?
He didn't come to his senses because he asked you to marry him.
Right.
Would you give
Have
up?
you found that a lot?
A
women-
couple of friends, I've seen that. Yeah.
And
I've
did
seen
you
that.
discourage them, or were you just like, I'm proud?
I stopped doing it because I also learned that people need to learn on their own.
Yeah.
Because I have been in that position where I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? Then they get married and you're stuck in then you feel weird.
Yeah.
You can't go to the house. You can't hang out at the crib because you've already told her he's a dick, and he is a dick.
Oh, yeah,
And
that.
he knows that you think he's a dick.
Right.
And you're fucking, I can't break bread with you. And then you call me in the middle of the night like crying, can I come over? I can't take it. And you can't say I told you so. You're like, all right, girl, come on over. And then you're just like, really?
Yeah.
Really? I'm up at this hour because of some shit we could have squashed 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So I think I've, having experienced a lot of that, has made me, my idea of marriage, it's all those cliches, it's work.
Right.
It's compromise and...
You gotta suck that dick. That's very important. guys.
Honestly, like, that's one of the things where it's you can't keep sex from someone when you were boning every day,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you're like, no, motherfucker, you
It
can't
turns,
be
it
that
becomes
person.
commodified.
You
Yeah.
can't use it as a weapon. You can't.
That's weird. Yeah. Would you give up your career for love and a family?
I think I might if I felt that I wouldn't struggle. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. Would you? Yeah, you got all the money, but there's a man and your family. You got to give up show business. Do you do it?
That would be tough.
Neal?
Thinking about
There's a man in your family. No, I'm kidding.
For love?
Love and a family. Like your ultimate,
and a
your
family?
your soulmate and a family. Your soulmate. I mean, you know.
If I had a soulmate, I wouldn't want a family. I would just want my soulmate. I wouldn't want to have kids with her.
Okay, well, but whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would you give up? Give up?
But you would have kids with someone who you didn't think was
Who
your
I
soulmate?
could
Not a
stand.
soulmate.
Twisted, man.
I'm weird.
I don't like this girl, but I will have. She will be the mother of my children.
Her hips need.
She do have hips, though. She do have hips.
I think I might.
Yeah.
I would definitely think of. Well, because again, it's like, could I still do? I could still make shit. I could still.
No.
Well, I'm not allowed to do stand up.
Nope.
Can I be funny in a?
You can chat and have banter. You can't be on the champs anymore.
Can I tell people write that down?
And do it on
Use
stage?
that. Get this to a comedy friend of mine in the comedy game, please.
Write that down.
Go to the comedy store. There's going to be a dude standing in the front. Slip him this.
Yeah, no.
Can he start a nom de plume on Twitter and start from scratch?
No,
Use
there's
a different picture
none
someone
of
else?
that. You can't do the champs podcast. We're gonna get another co-creator. We'll get like the person that co-created Cheers to come take your place, and you're out the game. You're out. You retire, but you have blissful love.
I wouldn't say absolutely yes or absolutely no. I lean toward yes, but you guys know I've done a lot of stuff.
Right. It's so
If I
true.
get out on top.
So true.
So I wouldn't care. Like there's part of me that like there's not that much about showbiz that I'm still curious. Like I wonder if I could.
Right.
So I'm way more curious about could I be in a loving relationship
Right.
than I am about like can I direct a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Like so I wouldn't rule it out.
I mean, what about like being the lead in a sci-fi action adventure? You've never done that,
I don't want to.
but you could.
I'm not even curious.
Well, guys, I'm casting a
Are you
show.
Psych-curious?
I have this great idea. It's about getting power from children by eating them in Liberia, which turns all the power goes to power a spaceship that eventually. Do you have
any Liberia facts?
That's a great question.
Do you have any Liberian talking points?
I do actually. There's a Liberian fact.
Is there anything? This is to get back to Liberia.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Here's a fact
Liberia-
about Liberia that if you ever go to Liberia, Neal, you'll be fucking killed and eaten alive for talking shit because I got a lot of fans in Liberia.
I didn't talk shit. You did. I didn't even condemn eating children.
You weren't even willing to talk shit about child eaters.
I'm like the PC. I'm the you of like gender. The way you are about gender issues, I am about eating children. Like, look, I don't want to go on the record as having said anything. I'm from Oakland. And
we eat children.
I'm from the Bay Area.
In Oakland, there's a lot of children, and they're delicious.
What about you?
Oh, would I
You
give it up? I don't think I would right now because I do have a lot of curiosities. I'm still on I'm still on my arc.
Right, I
So-
agree. I mean, right this second, probably not. Maybe after I've had my own show
Right.
and produced some things, then. But I feel like I have to find someone who's down, who's in it, worth willing to go the distance.
What about you, Doug?
Probably not. I am like you though. My arc is happening, and I'm about to blow up.
I know you are,
I'm about
dog.
to run this game.
It's a little bit harder to make that kind of choice, even if it's hypothetical, when you finally get rolling.
Yeah,
If
totally.
if I was just doing the open mics,
Bye.
I'd probably be
See
like,
ya.
You know what's funny?
Yep.
Nora Ephron, there was an article about that Lena Dunham wrote about Nora Ephron, and she said that Nora Ephron told her you can't marry somebody when you're trying to become who you're trying to become.
Yes,
Wow.
I agree.
Which is really, I think, good advice. I've
Yeah.
always kind of agreed with that. Like
That's
you kinda,
interesting.
You either have to know somebody like before you started,
right,
or you have to be like Paul McCartney.
Right. Yeah, because
And
he's had a
they
lot of
just like
success.
you just just like I'm an established guy.
Right.
I don't have to I'm not you're beyond preoccupied with your career.
Right.
You're you're monomaniacal about it.
When do you know when you're there? You never know when you're there.
I had a
Neal's there.
I'm there in a certain. I saw Chappelle the other day. You know what he said? He said, "Go ahead and drop." I saw him. He
Chappelle
said
who?
he literally said, "I don't need that much attention anymore."
Right.
He literally just said, "Like I don't."
Neal, stop dropping my name.
He said, "I don't need that much attention."
you don't feel like he's felt like that for a while?
No, he has,
Oh,
but
okay.
he's like, I can't even. He's like, I'm good at stand up. He's like, I do a show the other night, and I'm good at it. I just don't feel the need. I'm not that. I just don't need attention.
Yeah, he's going to become like, one of these.
He mainlined on attention.
No doubt, right.
I
He
think it's
OD'd
also,
on
it's
attention.
like the same thing for some people with money. There are some people who can't get enough. Like they have to get more, have to get more, have to get more. And I was always broke, and I finally have a job where I can pay my bills. If I want to go on vacation, I can. I'm not pressed.
Right.
I've gone to Europe. I'm not adventurous anymore. I'm at an age where I'm like, you know what? I don't need to see India. I'm okay past skipping Mumbai.
Yeah,
you know
and you know what else? I feel like you get to an age where you can, if you see a picture, you're like, I can imagine what that's like.
Y'all are old, man. What the hell? What are you talking about?
You kids go on.
But I feel like, I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, by
I know
some
there are
stretches
certain
of the
things
imagination.
that I want to do. Like I want to do my apartment, and I think if we finish the season, then I'll be able to do the things I want in my apartment, and I'm okay with my apartment.
Right.
You own
my
it?
condo. Yes, my condo. And so it finally dawned on me when the phrase, like I tell you all those, I was saying those are cliches become reality. Like they're like, money isn't everything. It's true. It's not everything. I still have issues with my weight. I mean, I could go pay for surgery, but I'm scared of the knife. But
right, I know.
So more money isn't gonna change my weight.
That's great. Yeah.
So I feel like you get to certain points, and like I said, I don't think that I'm in a place where I'm so rich that I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I could just stop and move to an island.
Right.
But career-wise, I think I'm just getting to the place where I'll be like, okay, I've done it.
Yeah.
I'll work when I want. If I choose not to, then I won't. But whatever the case, I'm not going to be killing myself, and I'm not going to ruin, say, a relationship.
No, that's Yeah, I legit thought when I was younger that if I got on TV one time, if I got a TV spot, and maybe a manager, like,
right,
I would straight up
on some real shit.
Have no more worries. I would straight up be. That was all. I thought that would solve all of the riddles, and of course the actual opposite is true, right? Like when you start getting stuff, it gets worse actually in your head.
People adjust to anything,
right? Well,
you can get used to anything.
Yeah, I always use have I talked about the ladder analogy for Hollywood before?
The ladder?
Which it's not much of an analogy, but it's like everybody is on a rung of the ladder, and they're always staring at the rung above them, going, "That's the fucking rung. If I could just get to that fucking rung, all my problems would be solved. I just get to that rung." And then finally, you grab the rung and you pull yourself up, and as soon as you get to the rung you want to be on, you look at the rung above you and like,
don't
wait,
you get
no.
one breath of like,
maybe.
You don't
maybe
ever get
half a breath, like, and wait, there's another rung, and you keep going.
You never
and
psych
the rung,
about
you know what that is? That's capitalism.
Yeah, but then the rung goes all the way to the top, and then there is a top rung, but then you immediately fall off it because you're dead.
Then you have to worry about your stockholders. If you get to a high enough rung,
right?
Then you got to worry about. Then you're Rupert Murdoch. Then you're.
Do you think Tom Cruise is not tripping anymore?
No, I think he's tripping.
Probably is.
I
right?
think, of course, he's tripping because the thing about being a movie star, you're on a fucking 13-week contract, basically.
Right.
Like, yeah, we like you now. You explained Tom Cruise's career perfectly. I fucking hated that month, and I was like, wait a minute, fuck this. Like Adam Sandler right now is going through like a crisis,
right?
Where it's like he's had 2 movies in a row that didn't do well,
right?
And now, he's made $3 billion.
So who cares? It's just ego that keeps him going, or what do you think?
I think with Adam, he just likes to have a busy day.
Right. So at a certain point, you're just like, I have the money,
and people like being in the club.
Right.
People like being in the halls of power.
Yeah.
That's the thing I realized about myself is I don't really like the halls of power.
Andy Samberger.
Right.
I'm still in the place of I want to get beyond level with certain people. Like, when you started doing stand-up and you saw people go up and you're like, fuck, and I don't care who you are, if you're a comic, you have that jealousy thing of shit, like he's not that funny, what's he doing? So then you want to know all the different things.
Even if they are funny, you're like, why don't I have
But
it?
at least if they're funny, then you're like, I need to fucking go step I need to write, motherfucker, I need to write.
Yeah.
But if they're not funny, or at least to you they're not funny, you're like, what the fuck are they doing? So then you're like, you want to know, who's their manager, what's their style, like, what's the thing, how did you, the big question, how'd you get your manager? It's different for everyone, but you want to know the details, and you're like, you can decide whether that's going to be your route or not, but you want to know. At least I have the knowledge. I have the knowledge base and know that's an option, but I'm going to go this way. Or be like, fuck it, I'm going to get his manager and try to go the same route. But I feel like I'm still in a place where I know that I want to do more things, and you see other people doing more things, and you're like, "Fuck, how did you get that?" Like one of my big things is what we're going through now is like I didn't want to get a PR person, because I don't. It's expensive.
Yeah,
and I don't
people that don't know about PR, it basically costs $3,000 a month,
$3,000 to
$5,000 a month to hire a person to pitch you to magazines to write articles about you. So when you read an article in a magazine, it's not like it was from the kindness of that magazine's heart. They got pitched by a publicist to write an article about you.
So I've been,
but you want it to organically happen, like somebody legit.
Well, I want it to be. I want to make money.
Like every article, there's someone behind there.
Yeah,
not everyone.
You think like,
well, I haven't had a PR person, and I've been in magazines. So I was like, why the fuck do I need a PR? Not that it's big articles,
right.
but little things that show up. And so I'm like, why do I need a PR person? And then I'll see someone like have like a story, and I'm like, what the. She's not that interesting, or he's not even that funny, whatever the case is. And so I've been kind of stuck in that space of, do I need a PR person, blah, blah, blah. And so finally I'm breaking down, and I'm going to get a PR person next month. I'm still in that position of wanting to move up and still looking at people next to me, my peers, if you will, my classmates, and seeing, the success of that I don't have.
Yeah, well, that's the weird thing about the whole Hollywood game is it's this marriage of art, quote unquote, art and ego. And it's like they're not supposed to go together, but they definitely by necessity do. So it's like,
I think in some ways they've always gone together.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I don't think Van Gogh was doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He wanted attention. He wanted people to think he was talented and all that shit.
I remember I had this realization where I was like, somebody was like, well, what would you really want to do? They always ask you, what would you want to do? And I was like, well, I think what I would want to do is like be doing stand-up and like writing books. And then I realized I'm literally literally occurring in my life right now, and I'm unsatisfied with the thing. I'm so unsatisfied. I'm thinking it would be nice if filling in the blank of a thing that I'm currently up to.
Right, but that's the thing is if you do enough shit, you know what it's like. That's the thing is like I look at like Whitney, who's doing great, and all I can think about is how stressed out she must be, and how not. All I can think of Whitney's life is, man, she isn't having fun at all. And I don't know that for a fact.
Right.
I just see her every so we text, whatever, but it's like, there's no fucking way she's enjoying herself.
I had a dream
There's no way.
I had a dream that I kissed Whitney Cummings on the mouth the other night.
Is that true?
That is true. I don't know where it came from, but it did. It wasn't a French kiss. We just like, mwah. So Whitney, if you're listening, thank you.
You want that dream to come true?
I mean, she's the best. Whitney's the best. She's a sweet,
I love
awesome.
Whitney.
Do you think you will be professionally?
Whitney's fucking so ambitious, though.
It's crazy. Yeah, totally.
It's making. I mean, I've talked about this on the show. Like during Chappelle's show, I had 2 eye twitches,
right,
and erectile dysfunction,
right.
Literally,
you had a dick twitch too.
Yeah, like I had 2 different twitches.
Yeah,
and erectile dysfunction. And I said to Chappelle, I have erectile dysfunction. He's like, I do too. You just gotta take the laptop off of your lap.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about
being so stressed out. Your dick don't work.
That my dick didn't work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were still talking about Whitney, and I was like, wow, she brought it to you like that.
Whitney has erectile dysfunction.
Whitney's like, I do too. Take the laptop off of your dick.
Her nipples cannot get erect. It's horrible. Like that. So when I hear about all this, like I'm doing this, I just go, all right,
yeah,
cool, man.
Well, do you think? I mean, there must be a part. I was thinking there must be a part of Whitney's thing, or people at that level. Like, also the showrunner on my show, Ryan Murphy, is running 4 television programs.
It's like, for what?
I mean, it's like insane. He's running our show, Glee Project, Glee, and American Horror Story. It's just like, what the fuck? But then there's another part of me thinking maybe these people are just going, not Ryan Murphy because he's been in the game for so long, but like maybe Whitney's just going, I'm going to take it. I'm going to get it while the getting's good. I'm going to set myself up to get this because who knows the fickle.
But I don't think that's how. I think that's part of it, but I also think it's like, so I'm going to work. I'm going to be like so beyond stressed out. My life's gonna be awful. I'm gonna have like
but Whitney's not
rust
going.
running
There's
through
no
my veins.
possibility Whitney's like, I'm trying to fucking stress myself out. She's like, holy shit, this is awesome. All this crazy great shit is happening for me.
But I
It's
also
hard-
know she's got to be stressed. I know
Of course
she's
she is.
stressed.
I got my own
in
problem.
Hollywood, in this industry, I think it's just too hard to be okay with there not being work once this project's done.
Right.
And so if you can get it, you hoard it. And instead of saying, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this job well, and you know, wherever the chips fall, that's how they fall, and maybe I'll get the next project or whatever. But I think you get so panicked. Like when there was the big controversy when they were doing the pickups for NBC, and NBC was like piecemealing the fucking information, and they didn't tell us about our show. I had a moment. I was at the gym, and someone had sent me a text, "Are you okay?" Not realizing that just because they had said something about one show doesn't mean that was the case for us or whatever. Everybody just thought the show didn't get picked up. But I thought, this is not a person who would be stupid enough to make an assumption. So I actually just had a moment. It was like, okay, I don't have a job. I'm going to have to call my manager and really work on getting an agent. I don't have an agent. And just start.
You don't have an agent?
No.
Oh, you lucky motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't have an agent. No, because then I get upset during hiatus because I don't go out for anything.
Right.
But it's hard to get one when you're on a show because they know they're not going to make any money off of you from August to May.
Yeah.
So whatever the case, I just thought, okay, I'm going to have to concentrate on getting an agent so I can go back to auditioning, which I fucking hate.
Right.
But I kind of let myself get into that place. But instead of killing myself to get an agent while I'm working, to keep it going, because I know I can't handle it. But I think that's personal.
Can or cannot?
I don't think I can handle like killing myself, being so scared about it and feeling I need to get so many projects going so that my mind is, I don't have a moment of thinking I'm going to fail. I feel like some people feel like they have to keep going and keep trying, or they feel like they're failures. Whereas I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have to start from the beginning and we'll see how it goes. It still stresses me out, but I don't think I could do what some people do, i.e. Ryan Murphy with 4 shows, because
Insane.
that's
crazy.
Obscenely insane to me.
It just would make me really unhappy.
And
but you have a taste of how hard it was just to do the project that you did.
Well, I get the sense from Ryan, he's a born showrunner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't get that from you. You're a comedy guy.
Right.
He's literally, his function in the world is to run shows.
Right.
Your show running experience was sort of secondary to your comedic expertise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's just in there. He knows what he's doing and loves it. He loves every second of it. It seems to me.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you want to do that, then do it.
Yeah.
But I think it's the assumption that people think they're supposed to do it. Whitney's very organized and very diligent and all that shit. Like so, but she's got to be stressed out. I just wouldn't. I just think people set a goal that's got nothing to do with their own. People don't know what's going to make them happy.
Now, did you think she's got to be stressed out because of all the critical panning?
No.
Of the show.
I mean, that doesn't help.
Right.
But it's just the day-to-day of having a show.
Right.
Is really, really hard.
So guys, champs, if you're listening, and you're working at Target and stuff right now and thinking you wish your life was better, it sucks to be in show business. It's hard, it's really difficult. You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't do this to yourself.
It's very hard,
Don't be like us.
You get overpaid, sure, there's it's not work, sure, yeah, but don't think that it's better than it is,
And the red carpet ain't what you think it is.
The red carpet
actually
hurts
more
your
than
feet.
anything.
It hurts your feet.
You know what?
It hurts signing all those autographs too.
Oh yeah, your wrist gets all carpal
Carpal tunnel, then
tunnel.
you gotta switch.
Do you know that
hands.
Taking all those pictures.
Do you know that money, $100 bills, leave the worst paper cuts?
Yeah. The guy
really, really bad paper cuts.
have the feeling that I'm going to be a poor person in my mind. I mean, for no matter what happens, i.e., I'm Jewish.
Oh, you're always going to be poor?
A little bit mentally. I'm a little. What's
what's funny? I've had in my mind that I'll always be rich. I've slept on my friend's floor because I was homeless for a little bit when I first moved out here, and then I would go to Temecula to stay on my friend's couch there on the weekends because I wanted to get out of my friend's hair, whose studio apartment I was sleeping on her floor. But in my head, I was driving an '84 Mustang, but in my head, I was like, I'm gonna be a baller. I've always had a thing that I'm going to be successful. And I think that's one of those things. Amy and I have talked about it at work, where you just had it in your head. You know it's going to happen, so you kind of rest easy in the knowledge of that.
Yeah.
Even though you're struggling to get to it, or you feel like you're working hard.
There's some power to that for sure.
So, and she was talking about, getting SNL, and I was talking about being on TV. Just being on TV, I was like, I knew it was going to happen. I knew I would work in Hollywood. It was just the anxiety of when everybody else was going to realize how fabulous I was. That kind of thing was in my head.
Well, the difference between you having that feeling and the vast majority of Americans that are starstruck by an idea of being on television is so vast. Most people in the world couldn't even stretch their imaginations to think I could be on television.
Right.
It's just like so foreign. So I think that's probably what gets you on. You disagree with me?
You can make a case that everybody thinks they're going to be famous now.
That's interesting.
Well,
everybody thinks they're going to be rich.
That's reality
Everybody
TV. I feel like reality TV has made people feel like, well, I can get on TV. Like, I don't have to work to get on TV.
That is true that I've had people since I moved down here and became an incredibly successful and popular performer. No, but just kidding. But, like people from up north know that I'm in this world now, start to email me, hey, do you know, and it's people I would have no connection to. Right. Do you know the casting person for Survivor? Do you know, I mean, it's like things that I wouldn't have a connect, and then I'm thinking, oh, you want that. Like desperate to be on Survivor.
California.
And I'm like, all I know about is Oakland, California.
I'm in Oakland right now.
It's like you're skipping. You get to skip 10 moves.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like it's like a turbo button. You just get to be fucking rich and famous, and they don't know what fame is. There was an article, or there was a documentary about that kid Chris Crocker the other day.
Right.
On HBO.
That's a dude that was like, leave Britney alone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was on HBO, just about his life, and it's like,
Leave Britney alone.
Good work, Doug. Fucking A. That was God. What a genius we work with.
Yeah, and just it was like, well, yeah, he had no right to be famous. Now then, he ended up doing porn. Like, it's like, well, yeah, you got famous for being sassy.
Well, it's like, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's so true that we're beyond the why are these people famous argument. It's like we went through that, and now we're just like, I guess these people are famous. I guess that's it.
Yeah, I don't even, but also it's like, have we argued about this on the show? The thing about like, well, what, the fact that
we have
John
talked about
Hamm's mad about the Kardashians, it's like,
right, it's all the same.
Yeah, like for me, my thing is like I read Us Weekly and I read People, but I don't want, like, I cannot bring myself to get into or even let myself debate, teen moms or pregnant, 16 and pregnant and all those things, or The Bachelor. I don't watch any of those things. So in my magazines, I look and I'm like, who is this person? And then I realize, and I switch. Like, and I'm a person who feels like I need to read every word in a magazine to make it worth me spending $3.99. So, like Entertainment Weekly, I read cover to cover, except for the book stuff. But I will skip over, that stuff because I'm like, I won't even let it count in my world because I'm mad that TV.
I feel like that's 80% of the magazine.
Well,
yeah, it is. So it's a lot easier
to that end,
to get through it. But
I heard this great story recently about the monkey on Animal Practice. Have you heard about this? I'm sure you have.
Animal Practice. Tell people what Animal Practice.
No. It wasn't a black
wow,
thing.
That just got really weird.
We were really
on your network.
We were
Animal Practice.
I don't know anything
really
about
good for an hour.
Yeah. Retta, you're black. You've heard the monkey story, I'm sure. No. This is what I was. This is what I was gonna say. Okay. Is that the monkey on Animal Practice is the highest testing character on any show on NBC. On any show on NBC.
You serious?
It's this like beautiful Zen Buddhist like parable for all of us. It's like no matter what you do, no matter how talented you are, you've worked all your life, Retta. You it doesn't matter. You're just a notch below an actual monkey. No matter what you do. He's always you're replaceable by a fucking monkey.
It's perfect. Like that's what has made. That's why these movies basically could have monkeys in them at this point.
Right.
Like the Fast and Furious movies might as well have monkeys in them. There's no dialogue.
I said
nothing happens.
Probably Planet of the Apes did.
Yeah, they're starting.
Yeah,
they're making them already.
I said to Bobby Lee, that's so funny. You've got this monkey, and that's great. It's testing so high. But the best part is if the monkey ever dies, you can just put another monkey in there. No one will know. And he goes, no, that's a special monkey.
Yeah, no, I believe it. He is a special monkey.
So, ladies and gentlemen, find your own special monkey within. Be that special monkey. Retta, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much. I think
Retta, we don't see you as a woman.
No.
we don't see you as a monkey.
Sassy, black.
Sassy, black.
You're not sassy. You're not.
You know what we see you as?
Not a woman. You're
we
not
see
black,
you as a
you're not-
champ.
Appreciate it.
Doug, go.
Baby say she heard of me, but she ain't know the face. Said I've been going on the tour throughout the
Champ show. You know I'm talking to